McHenry West Campus, home of the Warriors since 1947. It has become a mission to provide all students with the skills they need to be lifelong learners and productive citizens. But lately, there has been an issue where students feel like their voices are not being heard, and an unfair system is taking place. The dress code.
In any public school, dress code is always going to be a point of contention. Any policy that exists, you're never going to please everyone.
Many students feel like the dress code is not needed, or is, I quote, it's stupid.
I think it's stupid.
We then went and talked to Ms. Potov, who is McHenry West High School's principal, who feels students at West have it pretty easy.
Dress code, for the most part, is pretty standard compared to other schools that I've seen.
Dress code is, I don't know, it's fair.
To some students, it's not a problem. To others, they question it. Why is it established? Why is it enforced the way it is?
Helps students practice appropriate business-like academic culture, let's say.
Both Mrs. Potov and Ms. Bolgren agreed that in order for students to be prepared for the careers ahead of them, they should know how to dress professionally.
Reflects that we want students to try to dress professionally, school appropriate.
Therefore, school's not the place where students can dress how they please. But is this taking away their creativity?
There's a time and place for particular outfits. Some are appropriate for the weekends and some are appropriate for school.
If a girl wanted to wear this crop top, she would have to wear a cardigan or something to cover up her shoulders, because it is considered disturbing or a distraction from students' education.
There are some just fashion trends that probably change that maybe makes it look like it's directed to girls.
The dress code at McHenry West Campus can be seen as sexist, but there's always two sides to every story.
And about the dress code, I think it's unfair, especially like you see guys like showing off like after underwear all the time and not getting in trouble, or certain girls that do get in trouble constantly and some that don't.
Boys break the dress code too, but why don't they get called on it much like girls do?
Short, the length of something, skirts or shorts or whatever. Boys don't normally wear skirts, and boys tend to wear long, baggy shorts.
The dress code can be sexist, which creates an unfair system.
I do believe that is a perception, simply because clothing in general, clothing styles are usually more revealing for girls. Clothing that is, sold and is part of our pop culture right now, that's sold in stores, it allows for more revealing things compared to boys. But I think the policy itself, and I think that was a misinterpretation in the fall.
Some boys feel like they should be allowed to wear what they please.
I think the dress code is stupid because I can wear what I want.
I also think it's stupid because I want to wear what I want to wear.
The way the system acts makes it seem like it's for girls.
That there's this perception that it is really written for girls, but the language in there is for both. It is for both boys and girls, but I can absolutely understand how it feels like it's centered more on girls.
Some students have taken action in their own hands and have even protested against the school.
Right to the protest issue, and they started making it an issue saying this is directed toward girls, when at least at West Campus we've enforced it that if a boy is wearing a tank top, he's still addressed in the same manner.
Why is showing shoulders a problem?
Once you get into straps, then girls tend to wear, and boys with their tank tops, but they tend to wear things that are more revealing in the chest area. I think there was some misinformation that they had.
In the fall of 2015, two girls from McHenry East Campus protested against the dress code, and their story made it on the news.
I get a little note in class that says immediately I have to go, not after class, not whatever time, immediately. And I take my education very seriously, so it's very annoying for me.
The girls say they want the shoulder band taken off the books, so they've taken to social media and organized a Show Your Shoulders protest.
The protests focus on shoulders, the fact that both at West and East students are not allowed to show their shoulders.
I think that the dress code is legit, but you should be able to show shoulders.
The bare shoulders issue boys aren't allowed to wear tank tops either.
The girls felt like they had no choice but to protest against the school.
And it's been more controversial right now. The thinking behind the shoulder thing is because some shirts that have really tiny spaghetti straps or like a tank top type of thing usually go along with more of a revealing style or cut of dress.
Showing shoulders isn't the problem. The fact that showing shoulders leads to a more revealing chest area. That's the problem.
I think that was one of the misconceptions with some of the issues in the fall, is that the girls felt it was just about the girls, but it was about bare shoulders.
Had this issue been handled better, talking to administration before contacting social media?
We all could have handled it in a more proactive manner. If the goal was to change policy, there's already a set system in place for that to happen.
The administration is open to all students. They should have the right to have their voices be heard.
That's the venue to go about making change.
Students can take a step to make a change, but there's still certain students who feel like the dress code is just an unfair system that will still continue to be on this way.
Because we're not allowed to show our shoulders, but there's girls that have booty shorts on and shows like half of their ass cheek, and they still get away with it in these hallways.
It's difficult to notice a student who is wearing short shorts in the classroom setting. Attention naturally gets drawn to what you're wearing on the upper half of your body than the lower half of your body.
Showing both areas isn't appropriate, but this makes it seem like one is worse than the other.
I don't think that's ever our intention, but I think we do our very best. But is there an element of unfairness at times? Of course, there's going to be in any policy. Something has to be approved by the Board of Education.
Both situations are a problem.
With that revealing and making it distracting for other.
I like the dress code because it's fair, and it's fair.
I guess I like the dress code because I can't break it.
Enforcement of the dress code sometimes begins to be pretty challenging. If I see it, I address it.
Dressing inappropriately is a distraction for others, but pulling a student aside for dressing inappropriately is also a distraction.
The dress code exists is to try to be focused on learning and to try to make sure that students aren't distracted. Students may not understand why there's a dress code in place. I think it's why a lot of schools have really gone to a uniform approach.
In the state of Illinois, 557 schools have gone to school uniforms. Will McHenry High School be the next one?
We do have a handbook committee that meets every year, and we welcome student involvement. We welcome parent involvement.
Therefore, students, get involved, make a change, have your voices be heard.
Students really have a passion for this topic, or they really feel like changes need to be made, then that's one of the avenues to get involved and to make sure that students have a voice in this process.
Therefore, girls still need to cover up. The system is not changing anytime soon. But if there is an unfairness in the system, it will continue to not work.
Unfairness is one's perception. Perceptions matter. And if there is a kid feeling like they've been treated unfairly, then we need to work harder at communicating and coming to an understanding for all people.